A very, very good evening. Welcome to Court FM. My name is Liquian Eli. It is 35 minutes after 8 p.m. and we are live on Court FM. We are also streaming live on our YouTube channel. That is at Court FM _KE. If you're joining us for the first time, thank you and welcome to the biggest conversation this evening, which involves matters young leaders, especially when we have to get the nexus between arts and politics. This is your time for you to get here because it's about to get very, very interesting, simply because when 2024 Gen Z maandamano happened, a lot of political conversation changed. Of course, we know the youth for KANU have been there back in the years. We know the young Turks Akina Urengo right now almost retiring from active politics because of age, of course. But then who are the next ones in line? Who are those who are coming to fill up the space and on this space? Is such a conversation that I want you to be part of tonight. So if you are somewhere driving to work and you love to be here, I want you to get it right. Let's have this conversation that is happening on Throwback Thursday. And today, it's all about matters politics.
You're listening to Court FM. Let the music play.
All right, so my guest of the night, a very interesting young man, should I say old man, because squeeze kila mtu anajiita kijana, na si vijana, ni wazee tu hivi wanajiita vijana. And I'm thinking, muliacha kukua vijana, ama mulianza kukua vijana lini? And they tell me, oh, you know, uncle, maybe bado on Gen Z. So my guest of the night is a very interesting gentleman I got to meet the other day when I was very busy trying to understand how things work. And he told me, uncle, irrespective of matters that involve politics, you have to be very careful because politics is not just a conversation. It is the conversation. And it involves a lot of lobbying. It involves getting on the ground. Mpaka kanipea mikakati. And that's why maybe, just maybe, if you are here and you love to learn one or two things, this is the place to be. Allow me, ladies and gentlemen, to bring you my guest of the night. And for those of you who are also watching on TikTok, I know you've been looking forward to this, so let us know where you tuned in from and we'll definitely get to you when time allows. So let me get to the backdrop and find out if he's ready. Na kama haiko tayari tumwambie nini? Acha kutuwestia time. Mama namna gani?
Court FM. Let the music play. You're listening to Court FM. Let the music play. Court FM. Let the music play. You're listening to Court FM. Let the music play.
Haya basi. On set. 1, 2, and 3. We have the one and only Mr. Tinny. Vipi kaka, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine.
Umefika. Naona umejaja ndani ya suti. Hukupeana memo bwana. You didn't give me a memo.
I didn't know.
Oh, this is the humble you.
Yeah, this is me. Nilikuwa na try at least. Nilidhani pia utapiga suti but.
Aya, bala. Pesa za siasa sijapata bado.
Ilikuwa ni kushtue but nikaona kumbe nimeshtuka peke yangu.
Hi Nuru, I'm ready for Friday. I'm very ready for Friday. I'm the earliest bird.
Yes.
So I want to take this opportunity to first of all welcome you and thank you for making time to be here and joining us on Court FM. It's your first time and therefore I'd love for you to introduce yourself to our audience and then tunaweza anza kuongelea mambo mengine ambayo yamesimama kwa kando. Haya basi, kazi kwako kaka.
Friends and family, they call me Choffuri Tinny Matali. I'm a content creator and a film director, also script writer, and also a leader in different capacities, and also a father. Yeah, niko tu na very few introduction hivyo.
It's a very, very big introduction. I cannot imagine you're saying that's a small one. You are a film director, you are a father, you are a content creator. You are also avoiding the fact that you are a member of parliament aspirant. Mbona umeacha hiyo nje? Ama ulikuwa unatudanganya?
No. Yeah, I did not see it necessary to say
Mm,
that because we were heading in that conversation.
mm.
But I'm also an aspirant member of parliament, Kandoi constituency from Bungoma County.
Awesome. Now that that has been put on set and we want to really get into this, I would love first to find out, you are a creative. You deal with
Yep.
arts, you deal with content creation. And because this is a TBT show, we talk about throwback stuff. Maybe you can help me out by understanding, first of all, why is art important to you?
For me, it's something that came as a talent,
Mm,
and then at times there are things you can be doing and you don't know how they are impactful to community
mm,
until a few people approach you and tell you, yeah, man, whatever you're doing is a good thing, and we feel like you should keep on doing this and this.
mm-hmm,
And then few days or few months, I because I had before I had interest in things to do with music, to become a music producer, and also to be an actor because I was influenced by, for us who have grown in towns, we used to watch movies from video shows,
mm-hmm.
from cinema halls. So I had that industry when I was growing up.
Yeah,
So that is how now my interest came in content creation.
yeah.
And then when I undergone some few trainings to know how content can be monetized in
Mm-hmm.
terms of now you can make money out of it. Now became my part of hustling.
Yeah. So now you're actively involved in matters content creation, and you find yourself in a very strange position because unlike the common belief, when it comes to matters politics and when it comes to matters arts, they always have a connection. Wewe kama msanii umepata mahali unapata kwamba siasa na sanaa zinakutana ama siasa zenyu, because wewe unafanya sana content ya huko Kandui ama Kandui ndio nini nafanyika huko when it comes to art and
Yeah.
politics? Where is your connection with it?
Actually, art with politics, they are not that connected. But at times, when you're doing art, especially it depends with the type of gear you align yourself with.
Yeah.
Like if you are a creative or you are a music singing artist or you draw things, art
Mm-hmm.
it is an umbrella of a lot of talents.
Mm.
So the way things they are in
Yep.
this country, Kenya,
Yep.
everyone who is in different department, be it people who work in corporate, be
Mm.
it teachers or akina mama, mboga, and everyone,
Mm.
everyone has a concern to know how leadership is being done in this country.
Yeah.
So even as artists, we want to know that how politicians are running this country because a lot of things are in mess.
Mm.
So that is how now art are uh, are marrying with politics.
Mm-hmm.
And as you know, a lot of artists, we do a lot of civic education through our content creation. We
Mm-hmm.
do a lot of contents that relate with daily lives. We create scripts that people can resonate with what is happening, be
Yep.
it in leadership, everything that is happening in community.
Yep.
So you find that a lot of artists are being used in as a tool in campaign.
Mm.
So they also play a role in making someone win election
Mm-hmm.
because of the influence we carry in communities.
Yeah.
Because we have people who are our fans who believe and who loves whatever we do. So whenever we come with an idea or we try to convince them to vote in someone,
Mm.
they have to do that because they love our content. So that is how relationship between art and
Politics become.
politician becomes friends.
All right. So
Yeah.
I love the fact that you talk about the aspect of you understanding your role in the society. And in this case, except entertainment, there's also the aspect of you carrying influence. You influence the way politics is run. You influence the decisions that the populace will make. You also influence 9 out of 10 the outcome of an election. When you take a review of how we've been able to perform over the past years, do you think wasanii wa Kenya, and also now opening your eyes in the region, have they actually been a plus in championing for better governance, or kidogo wamelegea? What's your take?
Wasanii pamoja na makanisa, they have really played a big role to bring bad leadership and good leadership. That's what I can say. And most of for the past few years, let me say from 2000, when I was born, a year before, that was 1989. A lot of pastors, let me say Christianity community, and also Muslims and artists, anyone who has influence in community, they have been playing their role in politics, and many of them, they have been doing it wrongly in a way that people goes there with personal interest. Like for me as an artist, I can go there and then I give my price of what I have to do and how I can convince people the money that I need to be paid. Then once I'm done, I don't care if the leader is good or not, if he will deliver or not. I don't read the manifesto. I just have to do what I have to do and get paid and go. See? So you find that a lot of people, when things now become worse in leadership, when the leader fails, people start blaming whoever who influenced them to vote the guy in. So I think a lot of artists, as we speak, 2026, heading forward the community, Christianity community, they don't want to be on the wrong side of history by influencing people, voting incompetent leaders. So I think they are not just looking for money, but also they are concerned on whom they are supporting to become a leader.
I like what you're saying, and I understand where you're coming from, simply because this is a community you work with. Again, when you talk about content creation and the general word being creatives or arts or artists, it sweeps everyone. It's a wave. You cannot ignore the effect that this wave has. For example, you remember at one point we have had comedians who have made it into active politics. We've had performing artists who have become member of parliament. We have had a good example is Ukraine, where a comedian became president today. Well, it's another story on how his leadership is coming out or not. But fundamentally, we cannot ignore the influence that these people carry. Choffuri, let me talk to you directly. You are actively, campaigning softly and of course aggressively to become the next member of parliament for Kandui. Why do you think you are the next big thing?
The thing is, I'm born and raised in Kandui, and as a young man who comes from the constituency and also who has good plans for the constituency, I think my contribution as a leader and as a member of parliament come 2027, when people decide to give me a chance to become their member of parliament, we are trying to do things differently. We want to use the new technology to at least to make leadership so easy and accessible to people. When it comes to resources, when it comes to development, You see, I feel like the current leadership that we have, especially for us in Western Kenya, it is more of our fathers who have stayed in power for so long. And I think the problem our fathers face are
Yep.
much different from what we are facing as young people at this generation.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel I can make a big change. I can change the way of our people, the way they think, the thinking of
Yep.
our people,
Yep.
and the new style of leadership and the new thing. Because we are not just going there to continue building schools, continue doing bursary contribution. We are taking children to school,
Yep.
but we don't have plan for them where they're going to work because the former MPs have taken a lot of youths to school.
Mm-hmm.
They have paid bursaries, but they have not come out with a formidable plan of how they can look for opportunities for these guys
Yep.
who have for these guys who have already done their degrees and
Mm.
diplomas and certificates in different institutions.
Yep.
So I feel like when I'm given a chance to become the member of parliament, I have to come up with a new idea and of which
Mm-hmm.
the world that we are dealing with right now, it's
Yep.
more of technology. So it will be a good space for me.
Yep.
And through the resources of taxpayers, I'll be able to come up with a good plan, a digital one,
Mm-hmm.
to help young people get opportunities outside the Kandui constituency, inside the Kandui constituency. And then we will not continue building classes. We will have another plan of improving our schools environment.
Yep.
Because for us who come from rural areas, you see our brothers and children who goes to school,
Mm.
they face different problems. Like
Yep.
some comes from humble backgrounds where they are not able to have a meal during lunchtime, and you see again children are going home during lunchtime. So we have to come with a plan, and we have to come and work together with the new Gen Z's leaders who will be elected, so that we can make this education free, both to rich and the poor. So the plans are there, and the vision
Wait.
is clear.
Before you move to the plans, because I forgive me, sometimes I pick the very simple things and make
Yeah.
a hill out of it. You talk about humble families.
Yes. Yes.
What is humbling them?
Poverty, man.
Poverty does
Poverty.
not make you humble, does it?
When
I think poverty
things
takes
happen,
takes
your
away your
dignity.
dignity. You know why I'm
I
asking
know,
that?
but
Why I'm asking that, Choffuri? It's not
yeah.
because I do not agree that is a very common English word. But then I'm thinking
Mhm.
the simplifying or choosing this very soft language goes ahead
Yes.
to take away the seriousness of the issue we are actually trying to
Mhm.
address. And that is unwarranted poverty, which is taking
I,
away people's dignity. So
I
what's
think
your thinking? Yeah.
I think you should understand that some people don't agree that they are poor, and they don't agree that they are living in poverty. So for a good word to use, you should say that they come from a humble background. But in that word humble, it means they can take any opportunity because they don't have any, you know. So my argument on that is it was like, when it comes to bursary distribution per constituency, per ward, there is a way that they come up with the documents, forms. A parent who feel that he's not able to pay for school fees, he's able to go and to take it. But when it comes to now dispatchment of the bursaries, you find that you filled the form, but
Yeah.
you are not able to see the bursary
Yeah.
because there is a lot of corruption. Who you know, which clan you come from, those are the things that affect development in most of the society in this country.
Mm-hmm.
So for us as young people, we want to come up. We look for our fellow guys who are in who have done different education levels when it comes to economics and all that, so that we can put our heads together and find a budget where we can be able to facilitate free education in the country, so that every student, every child will feel loved by the government to go to school and be able to access education on free. And that is the plan of the 14th parliament when
So,
we have given chance.
so you see, Tiny, forgive me again. I'm very picky. I love the fact that there are plans to ensure every student has an
Yeah,
opportunity to access education. For the past few
yeah.
weeks, I've struggled with the aspect of quality education and
Mm,
the issue of allocations of funds, among others. When you look at the current state of education nationally, and then
mhm,
go all the way down to what we refer to as mashinani, is it
mhm.
your informed opinion that we have done a lot of disservice for the Kenyan children? Because where I sit, I feel as if there's something we've done and we've not got it right. What is your problem with education in this country except the aspect of affordability?
Uh, the fact is that a lot of people who are educated, they have not gotten opportunity to use their education skills in any way. That is the first challenge. And even employers are appreciating mediocres, you know. And that is why education, it is becoming a challenge to some guys who feel like education is not now valued in the current society. Of which, when you look into it and when you try to reason with people without feelings, you will feel like whatever the allegation are, it is true. Because let's do a random check. For people like you guys who are in media and who are presenters, you'll find like a lot of people have gone to school to study uh, journalism. They're very professional. They know what they have to do. But now the radios, they don't want to work with those type of people. They want to work with influencers, people who have numbers online, people who have engagement, who can bring a following during the show on radio. But unfortunately, some of them, they are not professional. They don't know uh, how, they don't know the tactics of a journalism. They don't know the work ethics. They can say anything on air of which that is not filtered. So they are not going to school uh, for that type of job. So if you meet a graduate from journalism school, he will tell you that this country hatuna kazi. You will not argue with him because it is true.
Yeah.
You will find that another girls, some CEOs, they employ the beauty
Mm-hmm.
of how someone is looking. You know, a beautiful lady is being given a chance to become a receptionist,
Mm-hmm.
but she doesn't have those work ethics. She's very short tempered. She's she has a lot of temper issues, so she can't handle even guests so well. And you
Is,
find
is, is,
another
is
guy.
that not an issue of mental health? Because I'm thinking when, but anyway, I
I'm
am
just
following. Mm.
yeah, I'm just trying to say that in fact you'll meet people who haven't gone to school and they are successful in life. So those type of fluctuation between education and those people who have not attended school or who are undergraduate or who have not done well, it is becoming a challenge. And also job opportunities. That is the biggest issue
So, Tiny,
that the government.
hear me out. Why for me this is important? It's because if Kenyans go to election next year and they vote you in as member of parliament to represent Kandui,
Mhm, mhm,
the issue of job markets and access to job will still be a conversation because we've had this conversation over and over and it's almost an endless talk.
Yeah.
When you talk about the issue of graduates, or specifically, I'll take an example when you refer to a receptionist who is hot-tempered, and they are supposed to welcome. They are the first contact that a corporate organization will have with their client. I'm thinking you're discussing the issue of talent mismatch. During one of the Senate voting, the Nairobi County was on the spotlight for employing individuals who are qualified as theologians or people in theology and running safety matters. Talk to me about, really, you've said about the radio and issues like that, but the talent mismatch, is it about the underqualification, or simply put, paying a debt to the people that elect you?
That's why when it comes to that, those are political rewarding jobs. You know, when people are trying to reward those guys who really supported their bid to become whoever they wanted to be, either a member of parliament or a governor or a senator, they just work with the opportunity where the loophole is. You will find a doctor is in the Ministry of Education because he just supported the governor or anyone. So my argument was coming from a level of a lot of corporate or private companies are the one that are employing more people compared to government. So that is what my argument was basing on. Yeah.
And so, in order to spread out the employment market and ensure that at least government as it is right now, we are already struggling with pending bills, you're struggling with recurrent expenditures, ballooning debt, both internal and external. How well can we ensure that the job market becomes a reality for young people? Remember, we are the biggest population in terms of percentage in the country.
Government first thing they should work is to give the relevant departments to the relevant people. For
Wait,
example,
you are giving this responsibility to government. I want you to talk to me as an aspirant who intends
okay.
to give us solutions, because now it's easy to say government should.
I have said government. When I say government, I'm pointing out to the leaders who are already elected. Remember, we are not who are already in the house. That relevant departments should be served with the the people who are facing the same challenges.
Mm-hmm.
If you employ a 79-old minister to a department of youth and gender, you are killing the future of the department and the future of the young people in the country. So I feel like even these types of job, Maju and all that, should be given to people who are experiencing the same thing to
Yeah.
be able to come up with the ideas. You know, that's why I had told you that part of my manifesto
Yeah.
is to work with the people that the shoe is pinching them to be the ones to give the solution on the problem that is happening. So I feel like leaders, once we are elected as young people, with the new technology we have, because some of us we usually work from home. But there are a lot of young people from the villages, they don't have capacity to work from home. Number one, because they don't have technical know-how. Number two, they don't have equipment to do that. Number three, some of the young people need job, but they don't want to travel to Qatar. They don't want to travel to Dubai.
Is it they don't
And
want to
also
travel,
to
or
come,
the risk of traveling, and you've you've
some of
really
them,
heard.
some of them, yeah, some of them they have just that love for home, you know, but they have opportunity to work from home, but they are working for someone in Dubai. So I'm trying to say is those those informations, they need to come from a young leader who is elected by those young people. So for them to understand it so easily. Because if you pitch a proposal like whatever I'm saying right now to a 79-year-old MP that now young people can work from, they can work in Texas while in Kandui. It will take years to digest in Izo or Blangata that this thing is possible. So what I'm trying to say is uh, the job crisis in this country should be handled by the young people who are facing the same thing. And again, we should be really it should be real, and the government should come up with an age limit. You know, once you hit 50 or 60, please, you have to retire in whatever department you are doing so that you can give space to the young people who are coming. Because if you say that people have to retire at 60, for example, let's talk about teachers. You know, a lot of teachers, a lot of our brothers and sisters have trained to be teachers in different subjects in this country. And you find that there is another teacher who is remaining with 30 years to retire. Hmm? And you see, the way teachers are being employed in this country, they won't employ someone who graduated 2019. They will not employ someone who have graduated 2026 or 2025 when there is another one who graduated 2022 and has not been employed. It is a system, it is a chain. They have to employ those ones first and then they employ this one. So it becomes a challenge. And also, parents should advise the young people to take different courses. You know, when they become many in one type of a course, it becomes a challenge. For example, Western, most of us, we know that the suitable and marketable course is teaching. You see? So you find that in one university, we have like 10,000, out of 10,000 students in Kibabi University, teachers are 9,000 from same community. So when even if they want to employ teachers, inakuwa ni ngumu because ni wengi. These young people should also know that we have different courses that can be can change their lives. They have to go in different things because in outside the country, watu wanataka. For example, if you go to US, you go to Canada, UK, you will go there as a day a caregiver. You know, you have to learn a bit of a nursing, even at a certificate level. Then you'll get that opportunity. Once you are done with Form 4, you can be able to go and learn a bit of computer packaging and ITC, ICT at a certificate level. So you can do data entry in different countries. You can be able to train yourself the French or German. So these people, when they venture into different courses that are marketable outside there, it will reduce the crisis of young people being jobless. That is what I think. And those are some of things that we should have serious conversation about it. It's not all about them becoming teachers, becoming lecturers. People can do different professions and they can make it in life. Yeah.
So I hear you. And I love the fact that you're talking about diversifying our talents into different areas that need the solutions that we are looking for. Because sometimes when the supply is too much, the market's dynamics will demand that, the prices will go low. But then you are coming from an area that is predominantly referred to as the food basket of the country. Is it?
Yes.
In Kandui and those areas, I believe so.
Yeah, in the entire Western Kenya.
In the entire Western Kenya. Now, looking at agriculture, why is it we don't seem to propose more research and investment in agriculture in the region. I don't know, from your experience, from your interactions with the young people there, you've talked about working online, and I thought, yeah, even if you're saying the 79-year-olds cannot understand this, I think the current government has done a lot of effort to enhance access to the digital space. That one, we can't take it away from it. But talk to me about the things that people from Kandui interact with every single day, such as agriculture, boda, among others. What is stopping us from making it and growing it into an economic empowerment basket? What is stopping us, Choffuri?
Let me also add on whatever you have said, but a little bit. What I have to say on that about youths working online. You know, the government of Kenya Kwanza, when they were elected in office 2022, part of their manifesto, they say they are going to put Wi-Fi's on every center, in every rural area. I don't know what happened. I don't know contractor alikula pesa, MCA hawajafikisha or what. I've never seen such a thing being implemented and being in action, or I've never seen the president going around the country trying to say that whatever I had said about Wi-Fi, it is working in every ward level.
Yeah.
I've never seen that.
Yeah.
And those are part of the things like Mtungia cylinder to be cheap to 300 shillings, accessing cheap phones. I think he told us something back 2023, mid 2023, he told us that we are going to be creating our own smartphones in this country so that every young man can access smartphones to work Maju. I've never seen that being implemented. I've never seen those efforts being pushed in.
Why do you think these things have not come to the light of the day? Because again, Choffuri, sorry, I want you to understand, I'm looking at you as a future member of parliament, as a future lawmaker, as a future policy maker. And therefore, my questions are almost bringing you to start taking account and understanding that we should hold you accountable. So why do you feel all these programs that are supposed to create solutions for young people have not been able to come to life as of now?
Because I'm not elected, I won't say much as a person who is holding an office. But according to me, is the interest. You know, the interest. You know, young people have not portrayed themselves as a dangerous tool when it comes to voting block. You know, they are good in arguments. They can argue in English. They can make a movement. They can come up with different things. But now, when it comes to voting, it becomes a challenge. So even if you're a leader, you will take them as jokers. You will use that language or the proverb that says that kelele ya chura haimzui ng'ombe kunywa maji. What does that mean? Someone can just say it as an idea and again say, hata nisipowafanyia hao vijana wapigangi kura, so what I do?
Yeah.
Let me impress akina mama wenye they are always voting every time na akina baba because their votes matters a lot.
Yeah.
So I think that young people have not worked hard to have bargaining power on that big cake that is always shared in this country. So whatever I can say is they have opportunity right now to prove to this country that they can make a president, they can make a lawmaker, they can make an MCA through their votes as young people separately from our fathers and our mothers. So that next time when they are being promised something, it becomes a threat to whoever is holding the office. So that is what I can say on that. And then
hold on that thought, because I want you to continue adding more on that, I have a question to follow up. But if you guys would love to ask a question to our guest today, who is Choffuri, please get the name right. Choffuri and not Joffrey.
Yes.
His
Choffuri.
Choffrey. Choffrey is
Yeah.
here with me, and he is an aspirant for the Kandui Member of Parliament seat come 2027. He is a young person. He refers to himself as a Gen Z, meaning he's one of these voices you get to hear and listen to every time we are talking about matters the next generation in politics, in leadership. I would love for you to send in your questions if you have any, and also continue discussing with us the nexus between arts and politics. And that's what we were earlier on looking at. Earlier on, we talked about his art and why for him the aspect of creative and content creation stood out to what it is today. And we are now looking at the aspect of leadership and politics. And of course, some of the gaps that exist that we can be able to fix in order to move to the next level. So if you have a question in that regard to a fellow young person, kindly send it in the chat section. Greetings to all of you. I see you, Susie Lab. Thank you for tuning in. Sales, among others. Also, Liz, thank you for tuning in. We are streaming this live on our X platform, that is at Mizani254. We are live courtesy of Court FM _KE, that is the handle, and we are also streaming on www.kotfm.co.ke. Kwa wale ambao mko ndani ya TikTok, you know the drill. It is Uncle Wamaju. Welcome once again to Throwback Thursday, and on this Thursday we want to discuss matters leadership, because clearly we come from a very long distance when it comes to the dreams and ambitions and aspirations for the country we so desire to call our home. But then we have a differentiated population called the young people who feel every time their voices are being silenced. When they raise questions, their voices continue to be silenced. And that's why it's important for us to actually have this talk one-on-one. And our guest again is Choffuri, Tinny. If you are on TikTok, you will definitely know who I'm speaking to. Ladies and gentlemen, this gentleman was talking about some interesting stuff earlier on, Choffuri. And I think you went far to say what needs to be done and what should be done and what is lacking for us to become the country we desire. So if I ask you something about the issue of the voter, we have had an opportunity.
Before we continue, there is a point you had asked, and I think I have to make some clarity on it.
Yes, please go ahead.
That was about food
Yes.
economy from Western Kenya. You
Correct.
see, we could have been the best maize and vegetables distributors in this country to Nairobi and different places, because we have the best soil, we have the best hardworking people, but we face a lot of challenges in poverty mindset. You will find we are the best guys. Tunavuna mahindi mingi sana. When we talk about Trans Nzoia, tunavuna mahindi mingi sana. Bungoma watu wanavuna mahindi, but because of people, they don't have money. When it comes to time of harvesting, you will find like our mothers, anauza mahindi korogoro moja 20 bob, aende anunue escort ya mandazi 4 akunywe chai. So atauza hivyo during that harvest season. By the time now, wakati ya mahindi inafika inahitajika, unapata yeye hana mahindi, pia yeye wale wananunua zile mahindi, they come from Nairobi, they come from different tribes who are not able with good fertility soils to grow maize. They come here, they buy those maize at a cheaper price. So when the time of we call it in our vernacular language, Komunan, around August and September there, when now it is so like people are in difficulties when it comes to food. So it becomes a challenge for them to afford food because they sold it at a cheaper price, and now the maize is back from different tribe with a uh, with a different price. They sold them at 20 shillings and they are buying it back at 170 or 200 per korogoro. So it becomes a challenge. So that is a poverty that is affecting the region. If you see someone can sell maize to buy bread, she or he wants to do barter trade. Anatamani omena auze mahindi ili anunue omena, hana pesa. That's why I overheard one of the aspirant governors, Didmas Barasa, who is a member of parliament, Kimilili constituency. There is a point he said, and I was very impressed. You know, I'm that type of a person who always listen to ideas and who can differ with someone in different ideologies, but when he says something that at least makes sense, I'll be rigid not to absorb it. So he said that when he's when people of Bungoma County give him a chance to become the governor, he will be buying maize from farmers at a price of 20 shillings. Then he will keep the maize as a county through maybe millers, stores, or all that, but he will again sell it back to them on the same price that he bought it. It sounded like a joke or a lie, but when he explained more, I saw like is something like as a county they can be doing something called food security for their own people.
Yeah.
And again, when you sell that maize to county government, you will be able to register down your name so that when you come back to buy it, they know that you are part of the people who contributed for the storage of maize, of which is a good plan. A plan like an idea like that has to be absorbed and have to be taken serious by voters if an aspirant means well for them.
But I find it difficult to, you know, to see how this will work. And again, I might need more details on the proposal. But I'm thinking market dynamics determine the prices and what a producer or a seller will go for. For example, if my county, my area home county, wants to purchase my produce at a cheaper rate, and a neighboring county would love to take the same for, let's say, slightly 20 shillings more, my options will be obvious, Tiny. I mean, am I overthinking again?
I think you are because what I'm just trying to say is kuliko you sell to different people who will come back with a hiked price.
Mm.
All right, you sell to people who are available to an institution that is mandated by the law as a county government, so that when you need it back, you can go and take it. It is like kind of a collateral, you see, because they just the way you can go and take a loan from the bank, but they are not sure if you'll pay back. They have to come and take something, or they have to take your car logbook, they have to take your title deed. So the government, county government, will buy that maize and store for you and give you that money. But when you need it back, because they are sure that you'll come for it, njaa ikikuja, you will have to pay back with a rate of like 10 shillings. So 30, if you save 20, like that. That is the idea of the member of parliament, Didmas Baras, to the people of Bungoma. That is what he was saying. So I've just given a reference to.
Yeah, I totally understand. And that's why I'm saying I might need to really look further into it. Because for me, if we are saying these, for example, people in Kandui will take to what is the nearest serious board there? Is it?
We have serious board.
Yes. Yeah, but
have here serious.
yes. Let's say the nearest one there, and they sell it off at that what will be considered as throwaway price for storage, there are costings that come with it. Who shoulders
Yes.
those costings? There is the aspect of post-harvest loss. For me, that is the biggest issue, because addressing the issue of food security does not start and end
Mhm.
with making sure people have money in their pockets. I think for me, it's
Mhm.
ensuring that if we are harvesting a ton of maize for this harvest year, or 3 tons of maize, we do not lose 3 quarters of that through post harvest loss. And it happens a lot, because then
Mhm.
you see the storage is bad, the trip from the shamba to the cereals handler, there's a lot that happens in between. So for me, the issue of food security, and again, this is my opinion, should be more than just money in people's pocket. But that said, Tiny, I want us to go closer to the issue of voting, because that's where the decisions get made. Young people have been called out for not registering as voters. Some have been told they are not angry enough to understand the indecision that they are making of not going to register as voters is costing them. From where you sit, why do you think there has been a very slow response to the call to continuous voter registration by the young people, and specifically the Gen Z that we now refer to as the future of this country? Tiny.
Thank you for that. And when we did a 2024 mobilization over the height of the finance bill, personally, I thought that the young people will be so mad to an extent that they will be just waiting for IBC to open so that they can become registered voters and go and vote out all these leaders. But to my surprise, even at the moment, they have not hit 1 million registered voters. And the way IBC are saying, they are saying that they are left out more than 10 million young people who have IDs who have not registered as voters. So that speaks a lot. And I think through our civic education forums that we are doing online, we are going to have a hashtag of Shikakura as influencers of communities and also as aspirant leaders. I think also it is because of movement. A lot of people who have not registered as voters are Gen Zs who are in colleges and universities and TVETs. And as you know, when it comes to comrades, it is so hard for a comrade to move from, for example, from a Bungoma Poly, a place that costs more than 150 shillings to go and register to IBC and come back to school. It is very challenging when it comes to our comrades because those are the target markets to register as new registered voters.
Yeah.
So that is why we come in as content creators and to do a lot of civic education, and we urge IBC to start that mass registration whereby we will be able to talk to some of agents to take this exercise near the universities at the gates to make sure that young people are participating in this process softly without being costed anything because I know young people are willing to register as voters, but now the distance from the official offices of IBC to where they are, it becomes a challenge. But we are hoping that up to April, we will be able to have different numbers that from young people who will be registered as voters. Just the way you have seen a lot of them have come out to contest for different seats, be it member of parliament, senators, and governors. So
Mm.
that means that they are being pushed by their friends that go for it. For example, like me, I come in a constituency where has a lot of bright young people. who are
Yeah.
doctors, who are teachers, who have different capacities, be it financially and all that. So you see, like a small person like me, in my small capacity, I have come out and told them, hey guys, I can represent you as a young person who is interested to become your member of parliament. What can you do? How can you help me? So they are telling me that we are behind you and we will make sure that you become a member of parliament. And I've told them that no, we have to work hard to make sure that we have numbers. You see in the number. Yeah.
Umesema siri ni namba and watu washike kura. Now, you see, it's interesting because IBC was in parliament trying to get itself some funding that will ensure they are able to conduct credible elections. And they were looking to have, I believe, it's 669 million Kenyan shillings for FY 2026-2027. However, rather this is really on diaspora, but it's important because I don't know if for you it's something that matters, because when we talk about engagement politically, I think the bodies that are supposed to conduct the elections, it's also an important body. Is financing a real issue for our politics, looking as we see that it is very costly to conduct elections in Kenya, unlike our peers? Is there a different way that elections can be made to ensure that, number one, everyone that is eligible to vote gets registered, and number two, that it is not as expensive as running elections as if our entire country depends on it in terms of our lives? I know it's a bit twisted question, but I would love to find out what you think.
You say, whatever you are saying is very right. You see, to reduce these all things, this is just a scheme of theft, if you ask me. Because if government can push an individual to have an ID, that is the same mechanism these people could have been doing. Once you are able to get an ID, ukichukua ID unaregister huko na kura ikiletewa ID. Because you always give the same details, where you come from, the ward, the location, and all those things. So the ID issuing commission should partner up with the IBC so that everyone who is able to take an ID is able to vote. You'll be given an extra card to do that, because we use biometrics to vote. Those are some of things that are being introduced. And again, I saw the budget that they were proposing on the floor. Nikajiuliza, kwani siku ya kura kila mtu atakula lunch huko? IBC watakuwa na wase wa catering. Wana wacha catering.
Hautaki wakule catering.
Ukishapiga hivi unamaliza, unakuambia usiende tu nyumbani, kuna mchele hapa ya IBC na samaki, kula kitu. It is very unnecessary for them to use that tactic as a tool of corruption, because this country is suffering, this country is struggling. We have debts that we haven't paid as a country. We have people who are suffering from different parts of the country. Others are facing drought. Others are being swept away by the floods. You see, others are not in school. Children are on the road. Those are not priorities to hike that budget so that some individuals can get that money in the pocket. We know it is our democracy to vote and all that.
Yeah.
We know they must have a budget, but we should work with a budget that makes sense to people. We should not use that as a tool of... and also, these elections and the IBC should create trust with people, should give people reasons why they should just give this thing voluntarily to go and vote. Because in a country that is led by democracy like Kenya,
yeah,
it is easy for people to do this thing willingly. And even people can contribute their personal resources to help IBC conduct this exercise swiftly. The people, I think that they could have been given that priority, and a lot of funds are Kenyans who live in diaspora, you know, because those people are really helping this country to grow economically. They have done so well when it comes to remittance. They are giving back money in our country, and they are if you look at World Bank, the new World Bank economical, what do we call it?
Survey.
Survey. They are saying that the people who live in diaspora, they really contribute in this country when it comes to remittance. So I think they should be given that priority also to participate in voting. From where I sit, and for the few friends I have, I overheard that we have like 4 million diasporas who are outside this country, who are hustling. And those are the people who are making Kenya big today. So I feel that those ones are the ones to be given that priority. And IBC can create a good system that can help all Kenyans who are outside the country to vote wherever they are, so that we can be able to solidarize this all votes across the world. So, but in this country, saying that the budget have to hike to that billions of money, I see it as a con game. I see it as a scheme to squander the public money, of which is not
because to me, on average, IBC will clocks about 40 billion to conduct its businesses, right? And that will tell you that, well, I know they have the boundaries delimitation to do. They have other, maintenance and everything. Because even the budget that they were proposing for 2026, 2027, a lot of it was going into salaries, remunerations, among others. But then the actual activity that is supposed to be the integrity, and why even IBC shouts in our face, it's a bit challenging. So given that we are looking at about 469 billion, million for the diaspora activities, and we were looking at slightly having about 669 million Kenyan shillings, it would have been appropriate to reconsider and allocating these finances for the diaspora community. But that probably story for another day, because there's a lot of conversation that is happening within that. So, Tiny, I know time is spent, and you had requested to spend an hour with us. We've been here for 1 hour 7 minutes. A great conversation so far. You've said baada ya kura tutakula kamshere. I almost thought kwani itakuwa wawili kwa wawili. Then I remember it's a Tuesday, so it can't be wawili kwa wawili. It will be just something in between. So maybe I want to ask you now a few questions that we always say the fire questions, not really fiery because there's nothing hot about them. It's just to try and find your thought process on some issues. My first question to you, sir, is, and you're allowed to, give an answer. There's no wrong answer. So in this question, my question is, if you can hear me, I think you're frozen to some extent. Looks like watu wa IBC wamempigia simu huyu. We'll try get him in the meantime. But as we try to get the questions coming, because my good friend is a bit frozen on the screen, Tala says, I like his thought process, very interesting, and I do agree that his thought process on some matters, it's quite interesting. In our country, we are really, really suffering, and yes, it's true. Things here are thick, and everyone is trying to make their ends meet. Let's get to some very interesting happenings of the day in order for me to be able to update you on what was the news that made headlines in our conversation when it comes to matters news. And because of time, we'll quickly jet into that. Let's get this rolling. Once again, it is, of course, on Thirsty Tuesday. Not really. It is Throwback Thursday. Mimi nakwambia very soon itafutwa kazi.
Court FM. Let the music play. You're listening to Court FM. Let the music play.
And welcome to the news roundup. UGM presidential candidate Chief Justice Emeritus David Maraga condemns the alleged issuance of Kenyan passport to Algoni Hamdan Dalgalo Musa, brother of sanctioned RSF leader Hemeti, terming it a grave breach of national security and immigration integrity. Health Cabinet Secretary Ade Duale presides over the rollout of long-acting HIV prevention injection Lenacapavir. EACC arrest 4 Gatundu North NGCDF committee members for allegedly extorting 300,000 shillings from a contractor over a pending 9.1 million Kenyan shillings payment. United Green Movement officially opens an office in Machakos County.
Court FM. Let the music play.
President Ruto presides over the 46th Kenyan Prison Service Pass-Out Parade at the Prison Staff Training College in Ruiru, Kiambu County. And notorious criminal gang members nabbed in police crackdown targeting gangs in the Coast region. Festus Arasa Omwamba, man suspected of trafficking Kenyans to Russia to fight in the Russia-Ukraine war, arraigned at the Kibra Law Courts.
Court FM. Let the music play.
In Jumuiya News, President Museveni and First Lady Mama Janet Museveni welcome first daughter Charlene Ruto and her entourage, discuss areas of cooperation and shared interest regionally. Zambia rejects a $1 billion in global health aid deal from the US, citing it does not align with the country's interests. International news, Dutch airline KLM temporarily suspend flights to Tel Aviv, Israel, as the third round of crucial peace talks between the United States and Iran begin in Geneva, Switzerland.
Court FM. Let the music play.
Cindy McCain stepped down as the executive director of the World Food Program. And in the world of sports,
Court FM. Let the music play.
FKF Premier League, KCB FC Bank, all 3 points in a 1-0 win over clueless AFC Leopards. Kenya Police FC defeats Sofapaka FC 2-0 as APS Bomet FC fall 1-0 to Kariobangi Sharks FC. Bidco United FC settle for a 2-2 draw against Mara Sugar FC as Ulinzi Stars and Kakamega Homeboys share the spoils in a 1-draw stalemate. UEFA Champions League, Real Madrid cruise into the last 16 of UEFA Champions League with a 2-1 win over Benfica. In La Liga, Cristiano Ronaldo acquires a 25% stake in Spanish Segunda Division side UD Almeria.
Court FM. Let the music play.
This marks the end of our news roundup, and we continue with our normal programming. Unfortunately, we lost our speaker who was supposed to be giving us his final thoughts on the conversation, but a great conversation. Hoping to have him in the next set. For now, we're gonna cross over to some great music. Being that it is Thursday, I hope that we're gonna have a good time right here at Court FM.
Court FM. Let the music play. You're listening to Court FM. Let the music play. Court FM.